Why don't we start with Gonzaga St. Mary's? When we had a 30-second handicap of this conference tournament last week, we said going to break once, I remember. Well, it's probably going to be Gonzaga and St. Mary's, right? Yep, agreed. We moved on. It's Gonzaga and St. Mary's. The number this morning is the Zags favored by 3.5, even though they lost both times in the regular season matchup. Do you find that telling? The point spread's minus 3.5 with the Zags?
I don't know that it's telling, but we know that the numbers and the metrics line up on the side of Gonzaga. And there's also this battle cry for a lot of people. And you hear it, I hear it. Well, you can't beat a team 3 times. So there's a lot of that when the public is going to support one team and the underlying metrics support the same team. You just have to open Gonzaga as the favorite. Now, did I think they would open 3 and get bet to 4? Not really. I think people are going to fall for the dog catching the points. I think, that's a lot of points. They beat them twice. But clearly, the initial push on the Zags from 3 to 3.5 to 4. And remember, Joe, when we first saw the odds to win the West Coast Conference, Gonzaga was minus 150, minus 160. So the bookmakers always respected Gonzaga, even though they may not have the record that they've had in years past. I'm not going to get invested. I have enough Gonzaga stock to throw in the garbage after they lose in the 1-8 or the 1-9 matchup. I will not get invested here, but I am not surprised that Gonzaga's favored. You can't make Mary's the favorite. I mean, imagine if they opened St. Mary's minus 2. It would just get bet right to Gonzaga. So you had to open Gonzaga the favorite, but it feels like a game that I just don't have an edge on, so I can move on. I don't have to bet the WCC championship, believe it or not.
No, you don't. No, you don't. But I understand why it's the case. The numbers say, okay, Gonzaga's the better team, even though they lost twice. We know St. Mary's is going to slow it down too, so that's a little dicey when you're talking about laying a couple of possessions. But when you look inside of those two matchups, 62 to 58, 74 to 67, the first game, Gonzaga goes 3 for 17 on threes. Okay, that makes sense. Then you look at the second game, they made 4 threes. They go 4 for 14. Now, they're not the best three-point shooting team in the nation, but they do at least make them 35% of the time, a much higher clip than we've seen in these two matchups. So chances are that that's going to come back down to earth a little bit. Oklahoma State and Cincinnati. Every time I look, the board is lighting up on this. There's a lot of Bearcats love. This opened at Cincinnati minus 6. I see it now 7.5. Oklahoma State won on Saturday. 78 to 67, right? They won at home. And they don't shoot a ton of threes. Oklahoma State was 7 for 9 on threes. A college basketball team shot 78% on their threes in a game. I know low volume, but I thought that was pretty interesting. We know Cincinnati has a strong defense. Ken Pom has them 25th in efficiency in the nation. Cincinnati keeps getting bet up this morning. People are looking for some action on the first game of the day, and they are backing Cincinnati, maybe a revenge spot, whatever, after Saturday's loss, where they love Cincinnati in this game. Oklahoma State doesn't have much of an offense. What do you think about this matchup and why they keep betting Cincinnati today?
I don't know, but it's hard to ignore the move on the favorite from 6 to 7, now 7.5. I'm not on the dog. I lean under, to be honest with you, and I do see a couple sharp books have moved down a half point. So if you're looking for action, I don't love it. I like it a little bit. I think the under might not be a bad idea because when you bring up the Bearcats, you bring up the intensity. And look, man, I'm going to call it the way it is. I love these first games that teams play on a neutral, like these first games of a tournament. I like them under. I just do. You know, you get that weird tip time. I mean, how many times are you playing on a Tuesday at 12:30 Eastern?
Right.
It's a weird situational spot. I'm sure some guys couldn't sleep last night. It's a weird out of rhythm experience. Now, that doesn't mean it can't go over, but you look at a lot of these early games, first game of the tournament, so they haven't played at the T-Mobile Center yet. And now they got to get up, weird breakfast time, weird walk around time. I don't know. I lean under in that game, but I do respect the move on the favorite from 6 up to 7.5. I just like the under a little bit more.